everybody, welcome to another edition of PoCommunity. I'm Mike Arboy, and I'm sitting here with Nabila Bhimji from Mindful Nourishment. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Another day, another great day.
Exactly.
Thank you for coming on. I mean,
Yeah,
we were supposed to do this a while back. We had to reschedule, but we finally got you on.
finally doing it.
Known you a long time,
Yes.
but not everybody out here knows you a long time like I do. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about what Mindful Nourishment is.
Yeah, so I'm a registered holistic nutritionist. I'm a food psychology coach, a food relationship coach, and a mind body coach, confidence coach, and a life coach.
Nice.
So a lot of things you have to introduce yourself as. I started out with having a passion for nutrition when I was really young, and all the girls were reading, Sweet Valley High and everything. I was reading Prevention magazine, and I remember looking at magazine cover with a senior couple, and they're running, and I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be me when I'm older. I'm gonna be super fit and healthy into aging. And then I got into the modeling and acting industry, and that's a whole different beast as far as what you're supposed to look like for your body, how you're supposed to present yourself. And so from doing that, I developed an eating disorder. So I would starve myself, and unfortunately, I would take ephedra, which is now illegal, I believe, but it wasn't at the time. So it's like being on speed. So I had super energy, and when I ate 2 bites of food, and I was fine. Totally suppressed my appetite. So I was eating maybe 6 bites of food a day, and it was super high all the time, super sweaty, heartbeat, all that thing. Um, and then one day I was driving to an acting class, and I got super sick all of a sudden. I was nauseous, my tummy was hurting, and I was like, "This is ridiculous." Felt totally weak, and so I had to pull the car over, and I'm like, "I gotta eat." So pulled into a Tim Hortons of all places and carb loaded, but I was like, "I can't live like this forever. I mean, is this acting thing worth destroying my health for?" So I was working at Steve Nash Sports Club at the time as a sales rep, and I had heard about a school called Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. So I had decided to go there and take their program. And what it did was introduce me to my passion for nutrition. It was a holistic program, so it was mind, body, spirit, not just eat this, eat that, because I knew that wasn't going to work for me. I knew I had issues that I had to deal with as to why I was eating the way I was and how the eating disorder came about, as despite the obvious, because I was in the industry. There was obviously other stuff going on with my family, with other things that were causing me to eat the way I was. So I took the course and I fell in love with nutrition again, and now I'm a nutritionist.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. I mean, it's a like a short version of your story. I
Yeah.
know it a little bit better. I know I come from an industry that's very similar to acting. I mean, it is acting. It's sports and acting. It's wrestling and ephedra, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
is still pretty like common. It's just not common in the legal
Yeah.
fat burners, but essentially what you like it is speed, like you said, and it is probably one of the least talked about addictive drugs, I think,
Hmm.
because it does have results. But did you notice once you got off of it, like the difference in how your body,
Oh
like
my
almost like
gosh.
it's like nothing else really works?
Nothing. And I tried to chase that high naturally for so long, and I couldn't.
Yeah,
Um you feel like a superhero on that stuff. Like you could do anything. It
yeah.
was amazing. I knew I had to get off of it for my health reasons, but I couldn't find it. And you know what? You're right. No one thinks of it as addictive, because I remember someone suggesting a place to me called Detox. So it's like a detox place, but it's daytime. So they're like, if you think this is a problem. And I remember the intake person being such an asshole. He's like, Fredra, what's that? Like, he just didn't get it, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not going to you for help if you're, like, putting me down for like, it's diet pills." And he's like, "What? You're addicted to diet pills?" I'm like, "Never mind." Yeah, so it is definitely an addictive substance that no one thinks about, that it could be addictive, and that it's just a diet pill, you can get off of it. But even when I was healing myself, I had setbacks, and there'd be times when I'd still go on the ephedra. Like, it's not like I said, "Oh, I'm not gonna take this anymore," and I was done. I definitely relapsed, because that is a high you cannot get anywhere else.
No, and just the results. It's
Yeah.
literally it's almost like your body reacts negatively once you're off of it in the way
Ugh,
where if you have one bad day of eating or something, you notice it
perfect, yeah.
way more than when you before because your body almost is it like it's relying on that drug now
Yeah.
to be basically your metabolism booster, right?
Yeah.
I've seen it. I could straight up say I've taken it as
Yeah.
just a guy who's trying to always cut weight. It's crazy because sometimes some of the people that look the healthiest are
Not.
not.
Or not. No.
Yeah.
No.
So like obviously once you got off that and you really wanted to get into this industry, like how long you've been doing it, been involved in it now?
So about 7 years.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I love doing it. It's a lot of challenges. When I got off the stuff, my metabolism fucked up.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to say
Oh
that word,
yeah, you say whatever you want.
beep, was fucked up, and I gained a shit ton of weight.
Yeah.
Um, and my adrenals and my blood sugar. So there's a lot of things I had to start working on fixing,
Yeah.
which is not an overnight thing at all. Just because you start eating better and go off the stuff, you still have to. It takes time.
Oh, 100%.
It takes time. So, a cautionary tale to everyone: think twice, 3 times, 10 times before you do it, because when you have to recover, it takes a long
Oh,
time.
it's you age and your metabolism already starts crashing a little bit.
Yeah.
But if you've relied on basically kickstarts almost like something to help
Yeah.
you along,
Yeah.
as soon as you try to do it naturally and
Yeah.
you've aged, your metabolism is just not there. I'm
Yeah.
someone who used to be in the gym 7 days a week
Mhm.
and thought like I could pretty much eat whatever I wanted. I was taking ephedrine.
Mm.
Could eat whatever the hell I wanted. It
Yeah.
would be smaller portions, but I could eat whatever the hell I want.
Exactly.
And then as soon as I was off of it, it was like, okay, if I don't go to the gym and
Yeah.
every day of the week and eat healthy, that
Yeah.
weight's gonna come back fast, and it did.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I'll go back to just the healthiest looking people are
They're
rarely the
not.
healthiest because I think everybody is like there almo you came you said you came from the acting industry, and it's like there's almost like a template of, the typical what they want as an actor,
Yeah.
both male, female role,
Mhm.
and they have that template. Not everybody can fit that mold no matter how
No
hard you
matter.
try. There's people genetics will screw you that way.
Yeah.
So it's an industry where you're almost chasing impossibility.
Yeah, it is, and if you are bigger, your roles are pretty much, the best friend, the class clown. Like, if you are a bigger actress, you're definitely limited, and you're stereotyped in what kind of roles you can take, so
Yeah, it's
it's
pretty brutal.
crazy. Um, and people gotta realize it's their full-time job, and they've got chefs, and they have certain times they go to the gym, but in reality, we live in a real world where, we just can't look like that.
Yeah.
Unless we're naturally that's our metabolism, and, um, especially as women, we've got hormones and stuff. We're made to birth kids, so we've got hormones. So, it's yeah. Yeah.
And it's also an industry that, like, if you are successful in it, you have usually either your production company, somebody paying for personal training or something
Yeah.
that is basically dedicating all their time to
Yeah.
exactly what your issues are,
Yeah.
and they're burning that away. And not many people have that money to do that, and
Exactly.
especially struggling actors and actresses
Yes.
trying to just make it. And
Yeah.
that's where the problem is because they're not eating properly, they don't have the money to eat properly. They're spending their money on fat burners or spending money in
Yeah.
the wrong places where they're there's so many industries that you can kind of match to the acting industry where it's just like you try it out for so long and it's almost like you get to a certain age and you almost just got to give it up because
Yeah.
it doesn't pay.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
pay, right?
It
I
just
know all about that. It's
yeah.
you kind of got to take that next step. So, but then these people get out of it with these harsh
Yeah.
addictions and basically just they don't know what to do with their lives afterwards when it comes to like how they're supposed to be healthy. And a lot of people I know, like personally, I used to watch what I ate crazy, like
Mhm.
crazy when I wrestled. As soon as I quit, it's like that was my comfort.
Yeah.
Eating is my
You're
comfort.
like, "Hallelujah, I can eat now."
Yeah,
Right?
and I've seen so many people do it.
Yeah.
They just blow up so fast because they've been taking this.
Exactly. Then you go on like Celebrity Fit Club or something as a fat actor who needs to lose weight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but, tell us more about mindful nourishment. So, like, you said you're a bunch of different kinds of coaches, basically.
Yeah, so my passion I focus on 3 main areas. My passion is, of course, the body image, binge eating, food addictions, sort of eating realm. But I also work with a lot of people because I got adrenal fatigue as one of my side effects from being high all the time. So I work a lot with people who have low energy. They need to constantly chase their day with coffee. Um, they're tired but wired at night. The littlest stresses, like you spill some milk and your whole life is over. Where with a normal person, it should be just like, oh yeah, I spilled some milk. Let's clean it up. But
Yeah,
you're just always on edge. So I work a lot with stress, anxiety, depression, mental health, and low energy. And then I mean, there's a through line to all these things anyway, and then a lot on the disordered eating side, which is my passion.
yeah, and you've uh like you said, you had an eating disorder. So
Yeah,
when you've pretty much felt what you're trying to help people with,
yeah,
it's always going to bring up more passion, right?
yeah.
It's always going to bring up more like love for what you do.
Yeah,
So like I know you're very personable, extremely
thank you.
personable. So being a coach and being just talking to people on a
Yeah,
daily basis about this kind of stuff, I know that you care. So there's a
thank you.
lot of people in that industry
Don't give a shit.
that don't give a shit.
They just want the paycheck.
They want the paycheck, personal trainers, too, like, just,
Yeah,
like, anybody in the health and fitness industry. Not saying everybody, there's so many people
of
I know and
course.
that are great in it, but there's so many people that aren't. But I could see where I see you is you're straightforward with people,
Mhm,
but you're also very friendly about it.
mhm.
There's a lot of people in that industry that are just dicks about it,
Yeah.
make you feel worse about yourself to a point where, okay, if you're, let's say you're a personal trainer and you have somebody on an eating regimen or something
Mhm.
and you're hard on them and they slip up a little bit and you're even more hard on them, now they're just not going to report to you. And I think where we're at in the time in the
Yeah.
world with COVID, with all that
Yes.
shit we're dealing with, personable people and people that actually care are going to be the ones that get any kind of work out of this.
Mm,
People don't have the money to go spend it on shit service, right?
yeah.
So, um, what like I was saying, you're very personable. You're extremely like thoughtful with how you present yourself and how
Thank you.
you present your company. So it's like, what is that your favorite part about doing this? Is like just helping people because you do come from you had a problem with this
Yeah.
like before. So like helping people, does it really make you feel good?
It makes me feel good, and the detective work makes me feel good too, like the piecing everything together. So, other traditional, and I might get slack for this, but dietitians, usually you come in and it's one body system or one issue they're dealing with. Whereas if you came to me, I'd be looking at how your whole body works together. But I would also do the mind body piece. And that's why I went to the Institute for the Psychology of Eating for that missing piece with the disordered eating. Um, so yeah, talking about dick trainers and other nutritionists, it's not willpower. A lot of people think it's willpower why people slip, but there's an emotional reason and that you're eating the way that you are, whether it's stress, whether you wanted to be something growing up and everyone told you to be something else and now you're stuffing down your true nature, hiding your voice, maybe you were sexually assaulted when you were younger and now the weight is a protection. It's not always that you don't have willpower is why you slip. So I'm very non-judgmental and let's get to what works better for you. If what I'm giving you is too much, or if we need to look at some deeper issues of what's going on and let's figure out what it is. Because one size fits all doesn't work.
No.
Everyone's different
Yeah.
and everyone's got reasons where they slip. I mean, some of it is habitual and it takes a while to develop a habit. So then in that way, you also have to be patient with people too. Um, but yeah, you definitely need to have that compassion. I
Oh.
mean, I know I've been there and compassion for myself was everything and people in my life that knew what I was going through. If they weren't supportive, if they were judgmental assholes, then I don't know how fast I would have recovered. So,
Yeah, and most people are supportive, at least if you have good support system
yeah.
around you. But it's tough because a lot of this, like people don't always know the reason behind it.
Yeah.
So like that, what takes a professional to talk to you to
Yep.
kind of understand where it may have come from. Because
Mhm.
like that's counseling, that's anything. Like you don't
Mhm.
really know. Like there's so many people that I can binge eat,
Yeah.
but it stems from like there's so many little I think steps towards it where
Yeah.
it's just like, oh, you're stressed, so you drink a little bit,
Mhm.
or you smoke some pot or something, and
Exactly.
you go do this, and that makes you even hungrier. So it's like a step.
It's a
Oh,
cycle.
it's a
Yeah.
cycle, and it easily can happen to so many people, and unless you're actually monitoring what you're eating on a daily basis,
Mhm.
people forget what they ate the day before a lot, and it just
Mhm.
starts.
Yeah.
If it's like you said, it's habitual.
Yeah.
It just starts a ongoing trend of
Yeah.
just you don't even know you have an issue, and I
Yeah.
think a lot of people don't know they have an issue until they are 2 sizes bigger, and they're
You're like,
like,
"When did that happen?"
yeah, and it happens quick.
Yeah.
That's what people don't realize. It
So
happens
fast.
so quick. Like you've seen it with COVID. Like so many
COVID
people have put on their COVID.
COVID
They had
weight.
COVID weight, and it's not like, oh man, I just need a week of dieting, and I'll put my jeans will fit again. It's like no, they've gained drastic weight, and it's
Yeah.
stress. It stems back to the stress you were talking about. Stress is like a beginning point. Um, and there's a lot of people that don't know that they're stressed because it
Yeah.
is from something from their past. So you obviously you kind of dig into it before you really get into a health regimen, right? Like you really dig into like
Yeah.
their
We
main issues.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kinda do it all at the same time. I have to gauge the person too. Some people I really do have to start with food because they're not ready to go there. Some people who are open to uh more holistic stuff, we might start with that. But I like to kind of give them some food recommendations they can start right away, and then give them maybe a lifestyle and like one lifestyle and one mind body task that they can do because I don't want to overwhelm them.
Yeah,
And sometimes even if I kind of know right away, I want to ease them into the realization of it too. And I do have people on standby if it's a really traumatic thing that they uncovered. I'm not a therapist.
yeah, yeah,
So I do have therapists on call that I can recommend people to if something heavy comes up.
yeah, yeah. And I bet it does quite often.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have baggage they don't know about.
Yeah.
That's what I don't think people don't realize what they've got strapped to their back every day. Really.
Yeah. I didn't realize until I started doing work on myself of the little triggers. I'm like, oh, that's why I do what I do. That's why I act the way I act. That's why I think I attract what I attract. Because it was things lessons I learned and messages that I got growing up that I'm starting to uncover. And it's a journey again. This didn't happen overnight. Like it's still happening where I'm like, oh, that incident that happened to me, that way that I was talked to by my parents when I was growing up, that little statement my dad said to me that he thought I'd get over and wouldn't make an impact that obviously did because now I'm attracting these kind of guys or these kind of situations. So it's a lot of deep work.
Oh yeah.
And food is comfort. So a lot of people go to food or drugs or alcohol, but a lot of food is right there.
It depends on the drugs you're doing, but it
Exactly.
kind of revolves around and just kind of cycles back
Well,
and
food
forth.
is so easy. It's right there.
Yep,
Yeah.
and it's comforting. It, you there's so many people that eat when they're not hungry. It's I think it's just plain and simple, especially just how easy it is to pick up, especially bad food, and we all know how like bad food actually they can make us feel like garbage.
Oh, yeah.
But people love the taste of it. It's addicting. Salt is addicting. Sugar is addicting. Everything is somewhat addicting, I think, in to different people. There's some people that can smoke a cigarette every day and not be addicted to it.
But
Like
yeah,
then there's some people that take one drag and they're hooked for
that's
life.
it. That's because they hire scientists specifically to make processed food the right amount of salt, fat, and sugar so you're addicted. They hire people to specifically make this food addicting. So not only do you have your emotional stuff, but there's also the biological stuff happening that it absolutely is addicting because they purposely made it that way.
Yeah,
The right combination of stuff to light up centers in your brain to make you addicted. So I mean,
it's crazy. I
yeah.
mean, it's
And then
genius marketing.
and then
But
they sell you diet pills on the other side and tell you you're fat. So they give you the chemicals, then they tell you you're fat. So diet now. And I'm like, "Really?"
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a back back fucking ass backwards world is what they call it. It's
Yeah,
just it's yeah, money conglomerate, man. That's how the
yeah.
world works. It's sad. You're working in an industry that is on the one side, that's their driven point. That's making money.
Yeah.
Health is last. It's seriously
Mhm.
the amount of things that are promoted as good for you too in that industry that really
Yeah.
aren't. There's a lot of great stuff for you that people should kind of add to their daily like intake.
Yeah.
But there are so many, so many,
Oh my
so many bad
gosh.
things that you people are scared about putting the COVID shot in you. Think about what you're putting in you on a daily basis.
Botox, which is a poison that paralyzes your muscles, you'll go do that,
Yeah.
but you won't do other things that are good for you?
Yeah, there's so many different things, and I mean, it's what is just commonly accepted. So like
Yeah,
when you see something, if you're born and that product has been on the shelf since you were born, you trust it. I mean,
it's
you shouldn't when there's like companies like Johnson and Johnson with
yeah.
like cancerous baby powders and stuff, and we're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
and that's just it's but we're comfortable with it because they're a huge company that
Yeah,
makes so many things of our everyday lives that we trust. But in reality, so many of these everyday things are just screwing with us, and
yep.
it's how money
It
makes the world
is,
go round, right?
because yeah, Johnson& Johnson's "There are No More Tears" has a numbing agent in it, that's why it's no more tears. So, it's like yeah, it's horrible, these companies are horrible, and they've got sulfates and parabens and a bunch of crap in there. So, their obesogens is another thing that's been coming up. There's actual chemicals in your food, in your cosmetics, in your skincare, in your personal care stuff that actually contribute to you getting fatter too. And like those are some of the chemicals, some of the dyes, some of the fragrances. Okay, so now you got your food, now you got your personal care stuff with chemicals, and you've got your mindset, and you got your emotions. So it's a huge battle people are fighting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's in another like I mean, everybody's different.
Yeah.
I think that's a big. I know people that can eat fast food every day, drink
Yeah.
pop every day, and they're 150-pound males. Like
Yeah.
they're just that's just their metabolism. And there's some things that people like people can drink pop. Like I brought that up before, but
Yeah.
people can drink pop, and there's some people that like bloats them to a huge extent.
Yeah.
And everybody, and every body is different.
Completely.
There is no way until you talk to a professional and talk about a bunch of different things that you're gonna get an idea of what's best for you. There's some people that can go on like a vegan diet. There's actually people that can't.
It's true.
And I know that from people that have tried.
Mhm.
Like literally, they weren't getting like just they weren't feeling as a lot of them are bodybuilders and stuff, but they
Right.
weren't feeling that strength that they used to get. But I know plenty of vegan bodybuilders that
That
say the
that are
opposite.
fine. Yeah.
So it's really I think that's what people got the one size fits all mentality that I think past generations have really pushed.
Yeah.
Uh, it's kind of going out the window if you look in the industry that you came from, like acting. Finally,
Mhm.
actors, actresses of all shapes and sizes are getting main roles.
I
You
know,
see leading
finally.
women who are all different shapes and sizes because not everybody is that
Yeah.
90s model. And that I mean we're not the same age, but we both saw what the 90s and stuff did to like women and how they were
Oh
supposed to look.
god.
um when in reality I don't even think men found that attractive. They were tricked into feeling like it was
Right.
being attractive, if that makes sense.
It does, and I've always wondered about the male perspective too. Um, if they just like going after girls that look like models, because that again, are they conditioned to that? Or, I've always wondered that piece.
I think it honestly was a bit of brainwash. I think it's a lot
Yeah.
of just you see it now. It's the complete
Mm.
opposite. Like
Yeah.
if you think about the 1990s when men were driven to like nothing against like Britney Spears and stuff. I love Britney, but like that was the typical like you had to be that figure, you
Right.
had to be that small, or you're not going to make it in pop music. Now it's complete opposite, or just in acting, total
Mhm.
like they're not even actors, but they're the Kardashian sisters. Like that's the complete opposite of what they pushed in the 90s.
Yeah.
Like the 90s was like no ass, no curves, nothing. You have to be pretty much like a
I like
board.
a boy, yeah.
And then now it's like girls are going out of their way. It's the complete opposite, and it's not healthy either.
Yeah.
Going out of their way to get like implants in all these different places, not just the chest anymore, everywhere,
Everywhere.
and just to be what thick. And it's just like, why can't we just have
A mix of,
Be what you're supposed to be,
yeah,
stay healthy, go to the gym, do what you have to do. Some people don't need to, but just be healthy, eat healthy, go to the gym, and you should be able to get those roles or do it.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just so much telling you what you're supposed to look like. And it feels like, and not to bash men by any means, but the patriarchy, it feels like I'm listening to a book by Naomi Wolf, and she said every time girls have gotten a certain amount of power, the diet or the beauty industry has come out with a new procedure we should get, a new diet we should get, a new way we should look. Because imagine if us girls spent as much time building leadership skills and changing the world as we do obsessing about our weight. I mean, we'd be leading this world and things would be different. So it almost feels like the industry um, is trying to put us down in a way and say, and every time we gain power or we start feeling good about ourselves or we have the body positive movement, they have to do something to tell us that that's wrong and we should look a certain way. So
Yeah. Yeah,
there's a correlation. So according to this book, yeah,
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 who knows how long this kind of life is gonna be like
yeah,
this. It's I mean, the money is gonna always kind of get what they want
yeah,
with these companies that are gonna promote what they want and do what they want. It's kind of always gonna be there. I think people are just more sensible now and understand that. I think there's a lot more corruption and people understand there's
yeah.
corruption. And I think it's probably the healthiest time, as easy as it is to get that unhealthy food and get everything. I think people are a little bit more
Yeah,
cautious about it.
we're getting there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. I mean, it's lifestyle too. It's hard. I don't know if you're dealing with anybody with like kids,
Yeah,
uh, time restraints, running a business. If you're dealing with
yeah,
you've probably worked with people that we have here at the Fountainhead. Like it's that time
yeah.
to eat healthy can be really tough.
Yeah, because what are you gonna do? Make 2 dinners, 1 for your kids, 1 for you?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so
after
they're
you worked all
all
day
day
and you
and
have, like, an hour long until those kids are probably going to bed after you get home from work,
yeah,
and you gotta create all this healthiness after you gotta go to the grocery store and spend an
it's a
hour
lot.
there. It's extremely difficult. Luckily, there's more healthy choices out there for quick
Mhm.
food, but still, McDonald's,
I mean, because it's so easy, you just go through a drive-through.
yeah, not even it's a really quick drive-through, like, it's done. It's pretty much hot and ready, like, it's got it's and but it is I don't know, it's I don't know, like I said, it reacts differently with everybody. People can I mean, it could not make you fat, but it's messing with your heart. It's messing with all this other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I recently had a post on my Facebook that, the same chemicals that are in your cosmetics and your shampoos and stuff is in the fast food.
Oh, yeah.
So now you're eating more you're
I
eating
think
more chemicals.
if you look at just North America in general,
Mhm.
that's so many of our foods that it's just like when chicken says it has 72 other ingredients besides chicken.
It should just be chicken.
Yeah, that's the issue. A lot of other places in the world, they don't have the preserved lifestyle we have here. I know, like you go to Europe, it's a lot of stuff that expires faster
Mhm.
because it's healthy stuff. Because we all know,
Yeah.
like if something lasts a long time, it's the preservatives that are put into it. If you go to Mexico, their creams and dairy are quite good
Mhm.
because they're trying to get rid of it as fast as possible, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have
It's
all these
fresh.
preservatives put
Yeah.
into it. Um, how hard is it? Like, so you live here, we
Yes.
live here. It is so expensive living here.
Wow. It is.
So going to like Palm Market to get your
Ugh,
organic.
I know. So and this is a good suggestion for busy people if you can find the right place. I usually use a meal delivery service, a vegan one, that I really like, and there's some out there, for those people who are strapped for time that you can get a reasonably good price. But the times when I skip a week and I go to the grocery store to buy my own stuff, I'm like, how am I spending so much money on me? I'm one person.
Yeah.
And then you still and you're just like, "What?" Even if I so POM is worse just for pricing, right? And then even if I go to Safeway, I'm like, "I can't win. I'm
Oh,
spending so much money on food
spending $30 on one meal because you have to buy all these portions for it.
and then cook it."
And then cook it, and then hopefully have some leftovers. But like then, if you're a busy person, sometimes you're buying too much; it just goes to waste in your fridge.
Exactly.
It's a difficult time.
Yeah.
It's not as easy. I think it's a weird time where it actually is might be cheaper to buy out and eat out
Yeah.
more. It's bizarre.
It actually is. I think I've even priced it or it was yeah, it is cheaper for me, even as one person, to eat out than it is for me to buy groceries and
Yeah.
cook. So it's taking time and it's taking money. So I mean, as long as you find and if you work with me, obviously, I'm not going to say go to McDonald's every day, but if as long as you find healthier places to eat, or use a meal delivery service that's healthy, then you're good. Because it does, there's always that guilt. Even for me being a nutritionist, or you don't cook, you're a nutritionist, as if nutritionists automatically have this big passion for cooking just because they're nutritionists,
Yeah.
right? Um, but I don't have time all the times, but I want to eat healthy. So I do the best I can and get healthy food delivered to me and stuff. And that's okay. You don't need to feel guilty of it because time is money, especially if you do have the kids and you're running the business and trying to do everything. It's about choices, right?
It is. It is hard choices. It's very difficult sometimes to not think about those $3 cheeseburgers.
Yeah,
I know you're a vegan, but like just as in general, like it is when you're thinking about like feeding yourself or even like feeding your kids healthy.
yeah,
But like after you feed your kids and you're like, okay, I don't want to go spend a ton of money on myself right now. I'll just go up and get
yeah.
a cheap dollar cheeseburger, and you feel
Mhm.
like you're getting for your bang for your buck. Like I remember this as a wrestler. Okay,
Mm.
like I actually did research, and it was an article that it was like a guy who's basically doing this article on training and bodybuilding on a budget where have no money,
Yeah.
but you need protein basically.
Right.
And they said if you go to McDonald's and you get two McDoubles, there's almost 60 grams of protein
Yeah.
in two McDoubles. That would cost you about $5
Yeah.
for the amount of protein you're getting for $5. Yeah, there's a lot of bad shit in there, but for someone on like that's just trying to bulk or just trying to get muscle and
Yeah.
they're lifting and lifting and lifting, there was no better bang for their buck. So it's like I'm just saying from that industry,
Yeah.
a lot of people are starving. They're like they go to those cheap restaurants and they spend it because especially wrestling. A lot of young guys have no money. They take
Yeah.
their money they made, they spend it on that because at least it has protein. But then they're also taking all these supplements that's affecting this, and then they're
Yeah,
eating
it's a
that.
crazy cycle.
And like I said, it goes right back to the healthiest people, that look the healthiest. Literally complete opposite.
Mhm.
Complete opposite. I wish there was a balance. I know for me, like there was a very unhealthy point. Like I'm on both unhealthy spectrums.
Yeah.
I think I'm finally getting away from the really unhealthy spectrum of just like
Good.
eating whatever the hell I want all the time. But like there was a time where I was on those drugs and just like go 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 mentality was just my image. That was all I cared about
Yeah.
because and then I would be pissed off and choked because everything I worked for, politics would come back.
Yeah.
And it's like what happens after I go to wrestling and it doesn't go my way. I
Mhm.
leave wrestling with the money I got and I go spend it on fast food or spend it on
Right. More drugs.
yep, more drugs.
More drugs. It's crazy. Yeah. So acting and wrestling definitely has a lot of similarities as far as
They're the same
politics and
thing.
stuff.
It's just an act. It's stunt work, right? That's what it is, and it's an image based industry. It always has been. I mean, if you look at females in that industry,
Yeah.
it's if you're not uh, in tip top shape or especially like good looking back in the day. Like
Back in
now,
the
it's a
day.
little bit better.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying women are good looking now, but like it's not the number one
Well,
priority.
The Rock's cousin, Jaya?
Nia
Nia
Jax,
Jax. She's
yeah,
a bigger girl and
she's
she's still
she's she broke down barriers pretty much.
yeah.
She just basically real, and you know how many male fans she has? Quite a bit.
Does she?
It's because, like women, like
I like
men,
her.
they all have different preference, and this is
Yeah.
like where it's I think past generations have been tricked to think what's beautiful, what's hot, what's this, what's
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
No, like it's literally different. There's that whole generation now of women that think dad bods are hot because it means that the guy's
Oh,
a
yeah.
bit like puts his
Dad
time into like
bods.
puts his time into like others and thinking about like his kids and family or
Yeah.
whatever more so than I'm a narcissist that's at the gym looking
A
at
gym
myself
roller.
every day. So it's just like I think we're
Yeah.
kind of getting to a healthy spot where people realize like there's so many different kinds of healthy. There's
Mhm.
so many different kinds of healthy. Like
Yeah.
just because that person might not look healthy, they might be drastically healthier than they
Healthier than
used to
you.
be.
Yeah, you can be a size 16 or 18 and be healthier, as we've discussed, than a size 0.
Oh, by far
Yeah.
than size zero.
And there's no anywhere in literature, anywhere a correlation where this exact weight equals optimal health. It's not anywhere. No one can tell you that this is the weight for optimal health.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't exist.
Well, it's also just if you take like smartwatches, smartphones, that you got all your calorie tracking devices and all that, and it's just I always shake my head at it because as a person who's taken ephedrine, you go on an elliptical or a treadmill or something, you do cardio with that, and then it
Mhm.
tells you this is how many calories you burnt.
And
It
you're
has
like,
you has no
no.
idea
Yeah.
that because if the person next to you did the exact same workout and they're not on it.
Yeah.
So like this is where I think people just they trust that. Like if somebody goes up the coquitlam crunch, two people different people, they go the exact same pace. One
Mhm.
person might burn literally 100 calories more than the other, and it's just how your
Mhm.
body processes and how your body
Exactly.
does it, how you sweat, and this is just yeah.
Yeah.
We keep on talking about how every one size fits all thing, and
No.
I'm so glad that we're getting away from that.
Yeah.
Um, and I know that you probably push that quite drastically with the people
Yeah.
you're working
Just
with.
because your best friend can burn X amount of calories quickly, like you were saying, or can eat whatever, you, that she's not your barometer. You're different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where can we find like more about your company? Because I definitely want people to like I want to tell them right now like to talk to you because I know you for a long time. Like I said before,
Right.
very personable, very caring. So people that are out there that are having issues with like just health management when it comes to their eating, their
Yeah,
just
for sure.
intake. I want them to come to you. I really do. So like website, social media accounts.
Sure. So the website is mindfulnourishment.ca. So Mindful Nourishment. How do I spell my own company? It's one F for mindful. Nourishment.ca.
Okay.
And all my socials on there, but I do have a Facebook page, which is Mindful Nourishment. Instagram is Mindful Nourishment by Nabila.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and my Twitter I haven't used in 2 years, so
I will do a graphic up for you at the end with everything on it, obviously.
I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Cool.
Um, so I would like to offer your listeners a complimentary 20 to 30-minute consultation slash discovery call. Um, answer a few of your questions, see if I'm the right fit for you, and give you some takeaways to take away, whether you decide to hire me or not, but some stuff you can implement right away.
That's awesome.
Also, if you go to my website and sign up for my newsletter, there's a free high energy recipe book, which have easy, yummy recipes that you can download for free.
That's awesome. So definitely check that out, guys. Nabila's awesome.
Thank you.
I yeah, known you extremely a long time. One of the most personable people I've ever met.
Thanks.
Definitely extrovert.
A little bit, just a
but
little.
but yeah, very fun to work with, very fun to be around. So if anybody out there like needs some guidance in that industry, definitely think of Nabila just because
Thank you.
it's it's there's it's an industry that has a lot of people in it,
Yeah,
but there's a like we talked about before, there's a lot of not good people in it.
yeah,
So to weed out that
yeah,
and I definitely want people to go to more like you. Like
yeah.
it's just it's I know all about it. I know so many people that struggle with that kind of stuff. So
Right.
it's if they're gonna go to anybody, go to somebody that cares about it and has also struggled because
Yeah,
I mean, struggle
it's
is
really important that they know where you're coming from.
100%. The most passionate artists are people that struggle. The most passionate business owners are people that struggle. They always say
Yeah,
like you have to fail to, um, and like you have to fall down to get your ass back up and
yeah,
to actually do something about it. And you have. You went to complete direction of like I'm gonna do something about it, not just for myself but for others.
yeah,
That's huge.
yeah.
So I appreciate you, Nabila. Thank you for
Thank
coming on.
you. Thank you
Uh,
for having me.
no problem. It's been a while coming. If you want to come on ever again, we'll do another one.
Sounds good.
Because I once I do more and more PoCommunity podcasts, I do want to do just kind of branch off just general conversation, but talking about health and fitness
I mean,
is
we've just scratched the surface. There's so much
oh
more we
it's
could talk about,
oh
like so much.
it's just it's really um that industry has been so corrupt for so long, and
Mhm.
what is good and what's healthy and what you're supposed to look like, and it's we just people need to not go back in history and decrease our life expectancies, because I actually was reading something a little while back that says that like our generation would be the first to jump back on average of like where our ages drop back about 3 or 4 years, just because of different things that are
Scary.
normalized in the world, that we've never really had a full generation of different intake, different things that we do on everyday basis. Yeah, you'd be amazed like what it can be, but it's there's so many different things
Mhm.
that attribute to it. And staying healthy, man. Like I really, it's I mean, if anything, the last couple of years has been all about that. So
Your
it's
health is everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I know, and Nabila, you here's one thing I'll say: you you definitely carry what you do very well because you do not look your age. I'm not going to
Thanks.
say your age. I'm not going to tell your age, but you do not look your age. If somebody told like you or told me that you were the same age as me, I would believe them in a heartbeat. So you're definitely doing the health thing right.
Good nutrition definitely helps.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
Nabila. Definitely check out her website,
Yes.
and we'll talk to you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.